We ended up breaking up. And I won't lie, there was a few times where we would talk again.
Yeah.
And try, but I would let him know. I would be like, I don't want to be with you though. But
like,
it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool to have you around, you know? And that's when I realized, I was like, you know what? Yeah, he hurt you, but that doesn't mean you need to keep hurting him too.
What is up, everyone? I'm your host, Alanized, and this is Noche de Pendejadas, your favorite talk show turned podcast en donde yo traigo a tus influencers favoritos para chismear y posiblemente sacarles sus trapitos al sol. Please help me welcome tonight's guest, Angie Resendiz. Hello, ¿cómo estás, amiga?
Hey, good, excited.
I'm super excited. This was like long in the making. Yo me acuerdo que empezamos a planear este episodio que hace como un mes, güey.
Yeah, maybe over. I think it was
over a month. Y ya se nos está haciendo. You guys, like, I had it in my agenda for quite some time now, but I was like, uno nunca sabe, because I know you're not from town, so I was like, ¿qué tal que me cancele? Pero aquí estamos. How are you? How's LA?
I'm good. I just got here yesterday, so we got here at 5 in the morning.
Fuck.
We flew here. For those of you who don't know, we live like 7 hours from here. So it's,
where?
We live in Monterey, California. So like in 2 hours from San Francisco. Near the Bay Area, but not in the Bay Area.
So 7 hours driving.
7 hours driving from here.
Yo dije en avión a vivir en Nueva York. Ya
like
la miraba yo la Eiffel Tower.
All the way over there.
That's crazy. So how was the flight?
It was good. Actually, we got no sleep. The flight was at 5 in the morning. And what's it called? I had to drive from the airport because it's 2 hours from us.
Oh, shit.
So we left the house at 2 a.m. No sleep. Yeah.
She's like, aquí ando como zombie.
I'm like, I'm here like a zombie. No, we got good sleep yesterday, though.
Oh, okay, yeah, because you got here the day before.
Yeah, the day before.
So aquí la tenemos, you guys. Y obviamente, igual como ustedes la querían ver aquí, yo también. Y pues hoy la traje para conocerla un poquito más y pues para sacarle el chisme. Pero antes de que empecemos con eso, yo quiero pasarle el micrófono a la Angie para que ella nos diga un poquito más de quién es y qué hace.
Yeah, so actually my name's Angela, but everyone on social media knows me as Angie Rez, Angie B, whatever. But yeah, I actually just do YouTube, I do TikToks. I'm very known for doing my Get Ready With Me's, my story time. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to tell I talk a lot. So yeah, I just love doing YouTube, all that. And I just love filming myself a lot.
Eso me encanta. I was literally watching one of your videos yesterday, and it was an hour-long Get Ready With Me. Yeah. And I was like, bitch, ahí estaba yo conectado con la puta tele sin quererme irme, because like your life is so interesting. So I was like, you know what? Yo quiero conocerte un poquito más y pues vamos a empezar con el chisme. Yo primerito quiero saber cómo fue Angie growing up. How was your childhood?
Oh my God. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. I had such a good childhood. I've always been in such a loving home, a loving family. My parents actually got divorced when I was 9 months. So it never affected me because I was already used to it desde chiquita, you know?
Yeah.
So I was a baby, so obvio no me afectó mucho. But yeah, ever since I was little, I've always just been a happy little girl. Like, I've always just loved recording myself. I actually recorded my first YouTube video when I was like, I think 11. Or 12, yeah. I was small for sure. Yeah, honestly, I grew up in such a loving home, around so many loving people, and I just love like my family.
Obviamente, nos platicas de que empezaste a hacer YouTube at such an early age. What made you start YouTube? Or what was like your first like memory que te acuerdas que dijiste o viste un video y dijiste, ¿sabes qué? Yo también quiero hacer eso.
Yeah. Well, desde chiquita, literally, when I was a little girl, I even have videos like on another YouTube account that I can't get into no more. I was like, 8 years old, and I would upload videos of me just like, hi guys, this is my house. I gave out my address and everything.
Aha, you're like, come look for me.
I'm like, okay. But yeah, I would just record myself. And then one day I actually decided, I was like, I want to vlog for my birthday. I think it was my 13th birthday. And I vlogged and I was like, I'm going to upload it. But at that time, I had no subscribers. It was just a YouTube channel. I just did it for fun. I was like, I love recording myself. And then I would see like people like Bethany Moda, Alicia Marie, and like back then.
Bitch, Bethany Moda.
Yeah, you remember? Like,
I remember her.
Yeah, so then I always wanted to be like a YouTuber. I was like, oh my God, like I want to upload and like vlog. But I just did it for fun. And then eventually I just started uploading more.
Ayer que estaba mirando pues tus videos para en verdad bien ponerme las pilas, también también me di cuenta that you were on Awesomeness TV's My Dream Quinceanera. ¿Cómo fue eso, güey? Like, did you reach out to them? Did they reach out to you? Cuéntanos toda tu experiencia en eso.
Yeah, so fun fact, I've always wanted to be on My Dream Quinceanera, even before I turned 15, because I would just see their episodes pop up on my Explore page. And then I remember I got my quince dress there, but at that time, like, I didn't really have followers on YouTube, so they obviously didn't really know who I was. I just went in there like a regular person, like, oh, I'm gonna buy your dress. I bought the dress, everything, and I wasn't working with them at all at that time. I bought my dress, I had my 15, and then literally, I think a year later, it was a year later, they messaged me, and then they were like, oh, like, we would love to have you, like, on our channel, this and that. But it was already a year after my quince.
Oh, so ya tenías 16
Yeah,
tú.
I was already 16, but they had seen that I had a quince and got my dress there. So they wanted to use, like, my clips from my party and everything, and they wanted to do, like, a virtual meeting, because during that time, it was COVID.
Oh,
so
okay.
everything we did was virtual. We were on a Zoom call, and when we recorded, I recorded on my own camera, and then I sent over my clips, and they edited everything. So it was like kind of confusing because it wasn't really me working there with them, but they were always behind the screen on Zoom call. And then they just hit me up. We ended up figuring everything out, and then we hopped on a Zoom call. We filmed everything, and
Y estaba chido el episodio,
It was
güey.
nice.
Like, pasó, like, literally the way you explained everything, like, yo me sentí, güey, como que si yo fui a la puta quinceañera. That is so crazy. So, obviously, you've been doing social media for so long, desde chiquita. But in what grade did your social media pick up?
Oh, honestly, it was probably
Like high school?
Yeah, it was for sure high school because, I started getting a lot of like views on my YouTube for sure when it was middle school because I would do these playlist videos and those blew up a lot. And that's what got me my first like followers, like my first 5K, 10K subscribers. But then from there, I was just uploading. And then I think it was when I hopped more on TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah, I help more on TikTok, and that's when obviously you get like a lot of followers there fast. But it's hard for them to go to your YouTube. But a lot of girls obviously like that I talk a lot, so I do more story times. I try and do more story times now on my YouTube, so like obviously that's what people like.
Yeah.
So it was honestly like throughout my high school, probably like junior, senior.
So for those of you guys that don't know, Angie recently graduated. So obviously you've been living your life on social media all while, being in high school. Y obviamente ustedes saben, you guys, in high school siempre hay drama, but obviously ya siendo tú Angie B online, was there ever like more drama because you were like this person online? If so, in what way?
Yeah, I live in a little city, so it's like, how do you say? Everyone knows everyone. So obviously, let's say me being, like the person that does YouTuber stuff makes you stand out and everyone just looks at you like, who is she?
¿Y esta qué? ¿De dónde salió? ¿De qué circo se escapó?
They're like, who is that? And I'm like, no, but for sure, I feel like the past, year or so, there's been a lot of I guess drama. A lot of people mad. Obviously, girls in specific, because I feel like a los guys les vale.
Les vale.
Yeah.
¿Y esta qué?
Okay, yeah. But for sure, a lot of girls, just kind of, like
hater vibes.
Yeah, hater vibes, or trying do little things to provoke me for me to talk about it or give them attention. But I'm like, girl, you're not getting your 10 seconds of fame
not
here.
on mine.
Not on my watch, girl. For the most part, though, I do try to ignore everything. I recently got in a fight a few months ago at school, and I ended up switching to online school because it was draining. Like
you got in a physical fight?
Yeah.
¿Cómo pasó eso? Cuéntame, yo quiero saber el chisme.
It was crazy. It was super crazy for sure. My cousin actually got hit with the hydro flask bottle for me.
Hasta tu pinche cousin le dieron.
Yeah, le dieron. No, yeah, it was bad.
Was it just girl drama? She just wanted.
It was just girl drama. From the morning, they just started provoking me. They actually pushed me. They're two sisters. They pushed me, and I got mad. And then I was getting my coffee, and then I opened my Starbucks, and then I threw it at the girl. I was mad.
Yeah, you're like, bitch.
Yeah, I was like, girl. Yeah, I literally grabbed my cup, se lo tiré todo el coffee, y la agarraron. The teachers got her, and then her sister actually started fighting me, and then me and the sister fought, and then she tried to get in it, but they were holding her, and it was just such a huge mess. And then it was crazy. They ended up trying to throw a hydro flask at me, but my cousin got in it, and they hit him.
Y le pegaron.
Yeah, le pegaron a him, but he was okay though.
He's still fine. Just a concussion.
Fine. Just a concussion. That's it. Got sent
Pero
to
ahí
hospital.
está todavía. So you switched to online school. Obviamente, terminas tu high school ahí. Was that different? Was that change, a a little bit hard for you to navigate?
It was for sure because I had to be very self-disciplined for sure. I had to tell myself, well, there's no teachers now. So you have to either choose to do your work or
not graduate.
Or not graduate. Yeah, and I was already on the verge of like not graduating, on the verge of not graduating. So it was a bit hard for sure, but I told myself, I was like, the least you can do is just graduate high school. That's it. So I tried. It was really hard, but I pushed through and I was able to graduate and I got it done.
Y pues aquí andamos,
andamos, yeah.
So obviamente you've been doing social media for a while now. You've been doing it, pues dices que tu primer pinche video fue a los 11 años, 8. Y pues ahora ya tienes 18. What was like your aha moment where you're like, you know what? Esto de hacer YouTube en verdad como que puede ser a whole ass career for me.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's actually so
You're like when
funny.
the paycheck hits.
I'm like, when that paycheck hits, I'm like, yeah, baby.
You're like the 21st of the month. That was my aha moment. I was in 2 days, bitch, waiting for the YouTube
I know,
chart.
that's why I'm out here. I'm just
like,
kidding.
porque sé que me va a pegar en 2
like,
días.
I know it's gonna hit. No, yeah. No, honestly, I honestly didn't expect it though. Like I didn't expect to want to take it this serious because like I said, it was just for fun. But I remember there was a time, it was like a year ago actually. I went to go turn in an application to a job because I was gonna work to be a host.
Oh shit,
So
at a restaurant?
At a restaurant because I was like, the people around me were kind of like, oh, no has trabajado. Like, you know, the tías that are like, y no trabaja.
Y eso lo que hace no es trabajo. Yeah.
Yes, they don't take it seriously. So low-key, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should get a job. Like, I mean, although I was getting paid, there was like stuff getting in my head like maybe you need a real job. You know, in my head. So then I was like, okay, so I went to go apply to be a host. Yeah, I was a host. And then I turned in the application and the lady tells me, she's like, okay, well, you're going to start at 5 today. She's like, we're going to train you.
And you're like, bitch, I was kidding.
I was like, I don't think so. No, and I was wearing leggings, my Ugg boots. And I was like, oh, like, I'm not dressed right. She's like, yeah, you can go home and then come back. Because it was already like 4. And
you're like, bitch, I'm going to the mall.
I'm like, this wasn't in my plans today. No, but yeah, so she told me and I was like, oh, should I? So then I went home, I changed, I came back, and then they started training me. So it was basically my first day of work, but training.
Yeah.
There was someone training me. And then the whole time I was like, this is like work. Like I was so bored. I was like, oh my God, like I felt like I was wasting my time.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let me just try it out. It's my first day, a ver qué. And then a guy comes in and I sat him down, whatever, and he's like, how old are you? And then I was like, I think at the time I was 16. I was like 16. And then he's like, why are you working? Like, you're a little girl. And then I was like, oh, like, I just want to try something out. You know, so like, we just ended up talking and somehow my YouTube came up. And I showed him my YouTube channel. I was like, oh, yeah, like me already pulling out my phone. With the first day of work. I pulled out my phone and I was like, oh, yeah, I do YouTube. And he like looked at me. He's like, if you have this, what are you doing here? He's like, you need to get the fuck out of here.
Así.
Yeah. He's all like, you need to get the fuck out of here. He's like, this is not for you. And then I was like, oh, okay. Like, I thought of it.
You're like, you're right.
I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving.
Bitch.
No, yeah. So he ended up telling me, he's like, yeah, like, look at what you have going on. He's like, what are you doing here wasting your time? He's like, and you're super young. Like, you don't need to be here. And then whatever. That was in the back of my mind the whole time. We ended up closing. I go home. And I thought to myself, I was like, yeah, like, I don't think I want to do this. I'm like, he's right. I kind of decided, I was like, I don't really think I want to do this. Like, do you really want to work at a restaurant? Do you really want to do this, like, for the rest of your life? Or do you want to take shit seriously and actually put your all into what you have already?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then that's when I decided. I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to do that. So let's take the YouTube seriously, social media seriously, and boom.
Did you just not show up or les llamaste?
No, I ended up messaging her, and then I was like, hey, I'm super sorry, but I don't think like the job is for me. This and that. I just explained to her, like, I really don't think it's for me. And then she was like, okay, good luck.
She's like, I hope your life goes great after this.
And I was like, look, girl. I was super thankful though. That obviously was, honestly was a really eye-opener for sure. And I'm actually glad that I went at least one day. But I went, I saw how it was.
You can sit down in here and say like, okay, aunque sea, I tried it.
Yeah.
Y no me gustó because, pues, como dices tú, for you, it's like you're making money now, having fun.
Exactly.
You know, you love what you do. You love, you know, chatting with your girls. Y pues, mejor hacer eso que pues irte, encerrarte y trabajar for someone else.
Yeah.
How was it like telling your mom? Like, was it like, mom, ya no voy a trabajar? Y apenas apenas habías empezado, güey.
I came home and she's like, ¿qué tienes? Because I came home with the cara de amargada. I was all mad. And then she's like, ¿qué tienes? And I was like, ma, I was like, estaba bien aburrida. And she's like, pues así es el trabajo. She's like, imagínate yo, because she would work at a store back then.
Yeah.
She's like, imagínate yo como ando. She's like, en la tienda por 9 horas y no sé qué. And I was like, ma, I was like, I don't like it. Like, no quiero. And she's like, well, you don't have to work. Because she never told me you have to work. Obviously, I had a good life at home, everything, nada me faltaba, but I wanted to.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, she's like, pues acostúmbrate. She's like, pero si no te gusta, no te gusta. And then my stepdad was like, así es el trabajo. Like, you know, you got to get used to it and this is not. And I didn't tell her that day that I wasn't going to go back. I didn't tell her at all. I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to just try and see. But in the back of my head, I already knew.
You're like, girl, I'm not going back.
I'm like, I'm not going back.
You're like, acostumbras ustedes.
I'm like, ustedes
yo no.
acostúmbrense porque yo no.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
So, no fuiste a trabajar. Obviamente, pasaron años. You graduate from high school.
Yeah.
Y pues, in a Mexican household, siento como que going to college is implied. Y pues, tú has hablado de que, pues, no, tú no quieres y no tienes planes de ir al colegio. Yeah. What made you make that decision?
I think growing more on YouTube. Yeah, because growing up, I wanted to go to school.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to college. I wanted to be a college girl. I wanted to either be a social worker or I wanted to be a probation officer.
Oh, bitch.
I
so
know.
Yo quiero poder.
Right? I don't know what in the world I was thinking. But yeah, I was really big on school. I had straight A's my entire middle school year. Freshman year, really good grades. Then COVID hit my sophomore year. And I fell off during COVID in school. I got lazy.
Yeah.
I got lazy with school. And then I started growing more on social media. So I think the more I grew on social media, I got more comfortable being on social media. And I was like, pues para que voy a la escuela.
You're like, mejor acá tengo
I'm like,
esto.
mejor acá que allá. No, but I think I did get a bit comfortable on social media to the point where I was kind of like, do you really want to do school? That's when I was like, you know what? I don't think so. Like, I tried it. I tried to tell myself, okay, like, try and see if you want to maybe go to like the community college there in our city. Pero I was like, I feel like it's a waste of time. I don't really want to go to school. And then I started falling off really bad on my grades my junior year. I was failing every class. I failed every class my junior year and I ended up having to go to summer school.
Oh, shit.
It was bad. Yeah, my grades were bad.
So you're like, bitch, they're going to have me go into a class for like fucking 5th graders.
Yeah.
That's what happened with me.
Yeah.
Así me pasó. Exactamente así me pasó a mí because I was doing so good my first 2 years.
Yeah.
Then I fucking started flunking every class. And then when it came to college, that's when I started like going up on YouTube. Y dije, yo, ¿para qué voy a perder el tiempo? Y si aquí me va bien. It's crazy. True. So you obviously make this decision. Y en un tiempo le tienes que decir a tus papás. How was that conversation with them? And how did they take it?
My mom took it lightly. She kind of accepted. She was like, I'm not going to force you to go to college. She's like, but I at least want you to graduate. She's like, haz lo que quieras hacer. She's like, pero te vas a graduar high school. High school. Yeah, she's like, you don't have to go to college. You don't have to do that. She's like, but I do want you to graduate. She's like, how can like everyone in the family graduate, but not you? Yeah. She's like, and you were like an honor roll student and everything. She's like, no mames, you know, like, come on. But my dad on the other hand, so his family is actually very big on like going to school. My tia, she's a dentist. The other one is a nutrióloga.
So son gente con carrera, güey. Tú ni sabes qué son.
They're all like been to college, did their years in college, everything. So obviously he wants the same for me. He wants me to go to school. And actually a few weeks ago I ended up telling him, I was like, yeah, papi, like I'm not going. Because my stepmom actually asked me, she's like, entonces, like, ya vas a empezar college next month. Because everyone's starting next month. Yeah. And I was like, oh, no, I'm not going. No, thank you, girl. And I told her, I was like, I don't think I'm going. Because I'm not going to lie, the past few months, I've been lying to my dad's family. Telling them that I'm going. They've been asking me, and I'm like, oh, sí, ayer tuve una junta con el profesor. Like,
she's like, ya me van a dar mi diploma.
Ya me voy a graduar.
Ya me voy a recibir. Was it heartbreaking, the news to your dad and their family? It
was. At first, it was because I was like, I feel bad because what if they think bad of me, you know? And they're going to be like, ¿y esta qué? ¿Qué va a hacer? They know I do YouTube for sure, but they just want me to go to school.
And I just feel like in a Mexican household, I feel like esto, especially because YouTube is such like a new thing. Obviously, it's been around for a while, but to our Hispanic parents, es como, lo miran como que si no es un real trabajo.
Yeah.
Lo miran como que si no da frutos. They see it as if it's not going to make you money, but it's like, no, bitch, like, I'm going to make money.
Yeah, for sure.
So how did he take it? Like, did he tell you, no, mija, vete a la escuela?
Yeah. he told me, he's like, ¿cómo de que no vas a ir? And I was like, well, no, I don't think so. And he's like, entonces, ¿qué vas a hacer? He's like, te entiendo que traes like lo que tienes ahí con tu YouTube y todo. He's like, pero ¿qué tal que si algo pasa? He's like, you always need a plan B.
Yeah.
And my dad is a very successful man. You know, he has his 2 companies and everything. So he's very big on you need to do something.
Yeah.
He doesn't obviously want me to just stay home and like not do nothing. And if obviously he sees the YouTube, he's kind of like, what is she doing?
Yeah.
But it's because he doesn't really know. And I also don't live with him, so pues no sabe what's behind it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was pretty hard, but he basically just told me, he's like, no, like you need to go and find another thing that you want to do. He's like, because you're not just going to do YouTube. He's like, you need a plan B, and like that's it. And then I was like, well, I'm not going to school. But maybe, like, let's say if something ever does happen, que ni Dios lo quiera, you know, like, no tengo nada. I was like, I can go back. Yeah. I can always go back to school regardless. Like, there's old people going back that are, like, 50 to go get, like, a degree or something. So
no, that's true.
Yeah. So, you know, school is always going to be there. And regardless, like, I know I will find something. See, if something doesn't work out, it'll always work out in another.
And I also do feel like you need to take that, like, leap of faith, because I was very, like, conflicted, too, when it came down to, like, bitch, you're gonna drop out of college, because I only went to college maybe for like a month. Pero
ese mes,
yeah, I went. Pero en ese mes nomás fui como 5 veces. Like 5 veces nomás me presenté para sentirme como pinche estudiante. Mm-hmm. But then after that, I was like, no, like I'm getting invited to these events. Sometimes you have to like be like, okay, am I gonna go full force with what I have now? No. Or like, am I going to divide my time? What. And it's like, if I divide my time, then I'm not going to put 100% into what I'm actually doing, which at the time was YouTube.
Exactly.
Y a veces tienes que hacer esas cosas para salir adelante y para en verdad to make something work. And I feel like lately, it's been paying off for you.
It has, gracias a Dios.
I'm like, damn, man. Me pasé la palabra. I'm like, toma agüita. No, it's been paying off for you.
Yeah, gracias a Dios, it has. I'm super thankful, of course. Obviously, growing on social media is a bit hard. You really, you know, have to have the personality and everything. And even then, sometimes, you know, people fall off, people don't. Like, it's honestly a hit or miss being on social media. But gracias a Dios, I have a lot of girls who really just like to genuinely watch me, you know? And I love it because I can obviously be myself, record myself, and do whatever while making money. And it's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, not a lot of people have the opportunity, and I'm super thankful, like, for it to be working out.
So, ojalá, yo sé que para ti va a servir todo esto. I know you're going to make it even further than you've already made it. Pero ahora quiero hablar about a little bit more of a sensitive topic. Obviamente, a couple weeks ago, you opened up very, very briefly about your brother's, you know, drug addiction on a live video. Y después de eso, ya casi no hablaste mucho del tema y dejaste a muchos de tus seguidores con muchas preguntas. ¿Qué fue lo que pasó ahí? Si nos puedes explicar un poquito más.
So, yeah, I actually went live a few weeks ago, and I never really talk about it like that, pero cuando se me sale, me sale. And a lot of girls recently have actually been asking me because a Chisme channel screen recorded it.
Oh, shit.
Me talking about the topic, and they posted it, and it got like over 20K likes. So a lot of people in the comments were like, what? Like, why is she talking about this? Is her brother okay about it? And I'm like, it's my brother. Like, it shouldn't worry no one but me and my family, you know? And I'm not as open about it just because I don't want to, like, let's say make a whole dedicated video about it. But then it's like, I like talking about it because not a lot of people know what you really go through. And, like, I know there's a lot of people obviously watching me and they're like, what? She went through that? Or what? Like, she's going through that? And it's just like, I don't know. I feel like it just brings a lot of awareness for other people that go through it too. Because obviously not a lot of people open up about their family problems. And it just gets harder. But yeah, like I went live that day actually. I forgot what I was saying, but I grew up in a loving family. Like I never really had family problems ever until I believe it was my 6th grade year in middle school. So it was a few years back. My brother started coming home, being a little, you know, different than how he usually was. So obviously me and my mom started realizing that. We're like, what? And my mom was actually pregnant at the time.
Oh, shit.
With my baby sister, yeah. So he was putting us through a lot at that time. It was really hard, obviously, to go through with it. Since he was small, he would always like smoke weed. So my mom had to accept it eventually. He started smoking when he was like 13.
Oh,
so
shit.
Him already being like 20, I forgot how old he was at the time. Obviously, my mom was used to him smoking weed, but he came home acting different. He would come home very mad, aggressive, hallucinating things, yelling. He was just doing things that weren't normal. You know what I mean?
And then you're like, it's not the weed.
Yeah, like it's not the weed. Obviously, like I could tell when he was like high because of weed, and he was on other things that time for sure. And my mom ended up actually taking me to the hospital one time because he came home saying that he had like poison ivy or something. He came home saying that his body was like burning or something, that he needed to go to the hospital. And my mom was like, oh, okay. Well, she didn't think nothing of it because he was working with a tree service company at that time.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, pues, okay, like te voy a llevar al hospital. She took him and the doctors came back and they're like, yeah, like he doesn't have nothing. Like he's like on drugs right now. Like he's bad. And they ended up telling her what he was on.
Yeah.
What it was. And my mom was like, what?
Like ni en cuenta.
Yeah, ella ni en cuenta. Like we had never like known none of that. Like we never even thought. It never crossed our minds whatsoever. She ended up finding out. She came home. She started crying to me. And she told my brother, she's like, ¿qué estás haciendo? Like this and that. And from there, everything honestly just started going downhill. Like, eventually, like it just got so bad to the point where we had to get a restraining order from him. And he lived with us. Yeah, so... basically, like, she had to take him out the house. And it sucks because, like, I feel like a lot of our family judged my mom on that a lot. Like, you gave up on your kid. You this, and that. But they don't know, like, everything he put us through. And she was pregnant. Like, she was not just risking our lives, but she was also risking
her life.
Her life. And she was pregnant. She was about to have her baby soon. So it was hard. And he just got to the point where he was just, like, going crazy, and like the only like thing we could really do is like keep him away from us. We tried and tried. We would literally go to therapy. Me, him, and my mom, we would go to therapy. They would inject him vitamins for his body to feel better, and then they would ask him, so when was the last time you did it? He was like, before I came. Yeah. And when he would say that, my mom's heart, like, I just know it would break. It dropped. Yeah. She was like, ¿qué? And she would spend money on therapy, on us going to get his vitamins, on us just trying to help him. He didn't want to be helped.
Cuando alguien, exactly. When someone doesn't want to be helped, pues, ¿qué puede hacer
when
uno?
When you don't want to be helped, you just don't want to be helped, and what else is there to do, you know? So she tried and tried. She couldn't. We had to get a restraining order because it was pretty scary. He couldn't be at the house. He would fight with my stepdad. Like, it was just something that was just scary, you know? And we never went through that. I'm saying, like, I've always been in such a loving family, so I was never around that. It was just new to us. And I remember, therapy family members that would call us and be like, oh yeah, like we just saw him like sleeping at the bus stop. And when my mom would get those calls, like, she wanted to bring him home, but my stepdad had already like been put, like, we got the restraining order, like, your life and our lives are
in
risk.
Danger.
Yeah. And my mom was like, oh my God, like my son, this and that. And there was family that like would speculate like she gave up on him because of my stepdad.
Yeah.
But it was never like that. Like, it was never because of my stepdad. It was because our life were at risk, you know, and my mom had no choice.
That's something really important that like you're touching base on. Like, yo pienso que la mucha gente nomás les gusta criticar sin saber what really goes on behind the scenes. Like, your mom and you guys probably tried for so long, for so hard to try to get him to be better. And it got to the point where it's like, ni él se quiere ayudar él mismo. Tu mamá se puso en de que pues tengo que proteger a los que me quedan.
Yeah, exactly. And it was hard for her, for sure. It was super hard. And even then, she tried to do the most to still help him. And I remember this one time, I was walking to the store with one of my cousins. And I was walking to the store, and then I just hear someone say, Gordis, because he would call me Gordis.
Yeah.
And he was like, Gordis. And he was like literally like sitting with the homeless in the corner of the store. Like outside the store where like the homeless hang out.
That must have been very heartbreaking to see.
Yeah, at that moment I was like, my brother? Like, are you serious? Like, bro, like we grew up, like, you know, like always been under the same roof, always been fed by my mom. Like, how did it just switch like that? And it was so heartbreaking. And I remember a few days after that, my mom got a call in the middle of the night. She got a call in the middle of the night. And at that time, I actually slept with her.
Yeah.
Because some stuff was going on, so I had to sleep with her. And she got a call in the middle of the night, and she didn't answer because she didn't hear it. So then we woke up the next morning for school. I had to get ready for school. And she saw the phone, and she had hella missed calls. She ended up, like, trying to reach back. And they, like, informed her that my brother had gotten arrested and that he had gotten deported. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so she was like, what? Like, and I think, so I forgot to mention, he was already in jail that month. Like,
ya lo habían metido.
Yeah, ya lo habían metido, but what's it called? Like, we had a lawyer and everything. So he was like good. We never thought that he was
you
going to
guys
get
were
deported.
fighting the case for whatever he was in.
Yeah, pero según que that night, like, immigration, like, came to, like, the jail and everything and took the people, like, obviously que se tienen que llevar. And yeah, I guess they were trying to call her, and she always blames herself. She's like, what if I would have answered that call in the middle of the night? What if, like, I wouldn't have been asleep? Like, this is not, I'm like, that's not your fault.
Yeah,
It's not your fault whatsoever. Like, who would have known? Like, maybe if you answered, like, todavía no vieran,
And it sucks because I'm sure your mom has that, like, mom guilt. But, like, at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, she's gonna have it because she's a mom.
Yeah,
Obviamente, yo estoy hablando y no sé porque, pues, no soy mamá y nunca voy a ser mamá. But, just from, like, my mom, like, what I hear, it's like, it's a guilt that you're going to live with, but it's like you can't culparte because you tried. And at the end of the day, your kids are adults y pues ya no te van a hacer caso como les hacían cuando estaba uno más chiquito. You know what I mean? So now you don't have a relationship with your brother at all?
No, so actually he got deported, I believe 6 years ago. So he's been in Mexico and we've actually been helping him. So he's in rehab, but he's been in and out of rehab. So me and my mom are the only ones que lo mantenemos allá. Monthly, we have to send money to pay for the rehab or anything in general. And he's actually would stay. When he was not in rehab, he would stay at my aunt's house that she built out there. So she was like kind enough to let him stay at the house out there. And basically, like, it's like my mom's baby, because he doesn't work out there or nothing. But we can't really talk to him right now since the rehab only allows the once every 3 months. So yeah, we still talk, but obviously it's more distant because it's like every 3 months. But I literally talked to him before I came out here to LA. We finally got to call and he was like, hey, he's all like, I'm sorry. He's all like, oh, because I didn't mention, but he had gotten out of rehab. He was doing good. And then he ended up falling back again.
Oh, shit.
And I told my mom, put him in there and, like, I don't want to talk to him. And I was like, and don't let him come out until you go to Mexico when you get your papers. And that's not until, like, 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm done. Because my mom stresses, she cries. Like, mom literally doesn't eat because all she does is stress over her kid. And he's already 29.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, it's not fair. I was like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, you're stressing my mom. Like, she has a life out here too, and she has to worry about you out there. Like, I think that's bullshit.
No, yeah.
That's selfish of him. But then, once again, I don't know, because once you're on drugs, you just feel like you can't stop. And I totally understand that. But it's like, it makes me so angry how, like, he knows how bad our mom is hurting.
And that's good that you're, like, understanding, but also, like, you know what, I get it.
Yeah.
But, like, at the end of the day, like, I have to see for myself. Yeah. And, like, your mom eventually will have to be like, okay, si mi hijo no entiende, pues no me la puedo pasar todo el día preocupándome por él.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, pues, como uno dice, ella preocupándose todo el día y él haciendo lo que él quiera allá.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how I think of it too. I'm like, how? Like, is she over here stressing and crying all the time? And he's just out there doing what he wants to do. That's not fair. So I told my mom, I was like, put him in the rehab center again. I don't want to talk to him if he calls. If they give us time to FaceTime or something, I don't want to talk to him until the 3 months. So yeah, the 3 months ended up passing by and we finally got on a call. And he was just talking to me. He's like, you know what? He's like, I know that whatever I say, you're not going to believe it no more. Because there's so many times where he's like, I promise I'm going to change. Please tell mom to get me out of here. And I would fall for it. And I would be like, ma, like, dale otro chance. Let him get out of the rehab and just live.
Like, he's changed.
He's changed, yeah. There's been so many times where we give him the opportunity to get out and let him live his life, and then boom, again. And this time I'm like, honestly, like, I love you with everything in me. I love you. Pero I don't believe you. I'm sorry. Like, I don't believe you. And I feel like you need to stay in there until mom is able to go out there and be with you.
That's crazy. You know, obviously you haven't opened about this too much online. Y pues ahorita que you're opening up about it, I'm sure a lot of your followers, or I'm sure people that are watching this episode are like, you know, in shock, and they're like, wow, uno nunca sabe lo que uno pasa behind closed doors. I'm sure a lot of people watching can also relate, maybe in the sense of, like, maybe they have a family member they dearly love that is going through the same thing. What can you say to maybe someone who's watching that is going through the same thing that you are going through?
Yeah. Honestly, it's hard. I feel like, and also everyone's situation is differently. There's people that have it worse. There's people that are still dealing with it. Obviously, I'm dealing with it from a distance, so it's not as hard. But even then, it takes a toll for sure, and I know it's hard. But genuinely, remember, like, you really can't change a person who doesn't want to change. You can't help a person who doesn't want to be helped. For sure, I wish I can go back in time and tell myself, like, this isn't our fault. This isn't my mom's fault. No one's fault but him. He chose to do what he wanted to do. Or whoever is dealing with this, like, you know, they're choosing to do what they want to do because they want to do it. And at the end of the day, as much as you try and help, like, it really won't matter until they want to do better, want to get help. But yeah, it's pretty sad and it sucks. But, you know, I strongly believe that, like, God is always going to protect me and my family. And whatever ends up happening with my brother will always happen for a reason.
And its consequences too, you know. Y espero que pues Dios esté con él y que nada malo fuera de lo que ya le ha pasado le pase, you know. So I want to talk about what happened also a year ago. So a year ago, you opened up about leaving a toxic relationship that you were in for over 6 years. Cuéntame un poquito más de eso, amiga.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So that's crazy to believe, though, because I'm 18. So it's like a 6-year relationship.
Yeah, like when you told me that, I was like, girl, so you were... I'll do the math on my fingers porque no fue el colegio tampoco. I'm like...
No, yeah, it's kind of like crazy to think about. But yeah, I was 12 years old.
Oh, shit.
I was 12 years old. We were in middle school when we started dating. But the entire relationship itself was just really toxic. You know, since the beginning, just a lot of arguing, cheating, everything. And eventually, like, it just got to a point where I was like, this is not what you want, girl. Yeah. Like, you're young and you've been in this for 6 years. You need to leave now. Like, you need to leave now. So, yeah, eventually, like, I was just tired of it. And I've always been open about my relationship on social media. So, when it was time, my girls were so happy. Like, because they knew how miserable I was. And they knew everything that was done to me, everything that was done in the relationship. So, they were like,
yes, girl.
They were all cheering. Yeah, they were all happy for me. And it was just something that was amazing for sure.
Was there anything specifically, like, big or small, that for you was like, you know what, hasta aquí ya no más? Like, what was your breaking point?
I'm like, because, there's a lot.
You know, but I'm saying, like, obviously you were together for 6 years. Le perdonaste muchas cosas. Obviously you said cheating. But was there ever, like, a breaking point where you're like, you know what, whether it's a small or big thing, I'm done? Like, what was, like, the last straw for you?
I'm like, it was kind of the last straw, but then I ended up going back. But, okay, he ended up cheating on me with my own friend. Like, there was already cheating before, but this time it was with one of my friends.
¿Y qué pasó ahí? Yo quiero saber.
I'm like,
mi vino chismoso.
I'm like, okay, so, no, we were dating. At that time, it was during the summer, so he was actually in summer school, and so was she. And then I was just getting ready one day. I was actually going to film a YouTube video. I was getting ready, and then I get a message from my cousin, and then he's all like, hey, this one girl just texted me and said if you're still with your boyfriend. And then I was like, why? And I thought in my head, I was like, oh, the girl is asking because maybe my boyfriend hit her up or something, you know?
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, tell her, like that I am. And then the girl told my cousin, oh, can you give me like her snap? Like, I wanna text her. And the girl ended up texting me. She's like, hey, are you still with blank? And then I was like, yeah, why? And she's like, oh, she's all like, so I was on a FaceTime call with one of my friends, and your boyfriend is in the back with your friend sitting on his lap, and they're like kissing and doing all that. And I was like, oh, snap.
You're like, my friend and
my
boyfriend?
friend with my boyfriend? And it caught me off guard because I thought she was going to tell me something about her with my boyfriend. You know, I didn't think my friend and my boyfriend. So I was a little caught off guard for sure. I was like, oh, okay. I immediately shut down. I didn't even grab my phone. I started crying. I was crying and crying and crying. I didn't text him. I didn't text my friend. No one. I was crying for like 5-10 minutes straight. And then I just texted my cousins. I sent him a voice audio and I was crying. I was like, guys, he cheated on me with... And then I was just crying. And then I was like, who do I text? Do I text my boyfriend or my friend?
Yeah, because it's like los dos son gente importante para ti.
I was like, what? I was like, and how are they even together? Like, he had told me he was with one of his friends. Like, I didn't think he was with her. So then I called her, my friend. I called her on her number. And then I was like, hey, I was all like, dude, why am I hearing that you're with blank? And then she just starts laughing. And she's like, hello, who is this?
All like, you know,
like,
pendeja.
Like, yeah.
You're like, like your best friend, bitch?
Yeah, I'm like, bitch, what? But honestly, I won't say, like, I wouldn't consider us best friends, but we were friends. We've been friends since we were in 6th grade. So it wasn't like, oh, best friends were together at each other's houses, but we would message, we would talk.
Like, she knew what was going on.
She knew. Trust me, she knew. I would cry to her about it.
Que se hacía pendeja es otro pedo.
Es otra cosa,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I ended up calling her and she started acting down. She's like, who is this, and that, whatever. And then eventually I was like, dude, are you guys together or not? What's going on? And she was like, well, if there's no pictures, no videos, it didn't happen. Yeah.
Hasta descarada la puta descarada. Oh my God.
It was bad. I was like, when she said that, I really like felt like my heart like got shattered. Yeah, it broke. I was like, oh shit. And I was like, you guys are weird. And she was just laughing and I hung up. And I started bawling my eyes out. And I hadn't told him yet nothing. So then I texted him and I was like, you know what? Like, les voy a sacar la verdad. Like, I need to know what the fuck happened.
Before I make a decision.
Before I make a decision. So I texted him. And then I was like, I just got off the phone with blank. She told me that you guys da-da-da-da-da. Like, I just lied to him. I was like, she told me everything, dude. Like how could you? Now. Yeah. I was like, how could you? She told me. And then he texted me. He's like, bro, what the fuck? She's lying. And then he told me, blank, this happened. So él solito me dijo.
Él solito cayó en tu trampa.
Yeah, and I was like, bitch, she didn't even tell me nothing. Like, but now you told me, you know?
Pendejo.
Yeah. So then, I ended up telling you. But actually, in the beginning, when I texted him, he just texted me, what do you mean?
Sí, so, like, trying to act dumb. Yeah.
But then that's when I told him, like, oh, yeah, she told me everything. Le dije, and then that's when he opened up. And then in that moment, I knew, I was like, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. We broke up and we weren't together at all. No communication, no texting for like 3 to 4 months.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, 3 to 4 months. And I was open on it on my TikTok. I actually posted a video and I was like, LOL, hashtag when you just get cheated on with your own friend. And then that's when everyone knew. And then my girls were like, they felt bad for me, but they were happy that I was actually kind of like done. You know? So yeah, I was done. And then eventually 3-4 months later ended up passing and we rekindled again. Yeah.
How did that happen? Did he hit you up? Or tú en una noche de debilidad? Like, were you like, fuck out, text him?
I know. No, we actually had a class together and he ended up sitting next to me. Yeah, he came to sit next to me. It was English class. He came to sit next to me. And then we started talking. And then my dumbass, I was like, let's go get lunch. Because we had lunch after this. I was like, let's go get lunch. And
then, let's go on a date.
I'm like, don't cheat on me this time. Nah. No, but yeah, we ended up
at
going
least not with a friend.
I'm like, not with a friend this time, please. Nah, I know. It was crazy. I really don't understand how, like, I was able to like do that, but whatever. We ended up going to lunch, and ever since that day, we were talking every day, and we ended up getting back together. He never asked me like be my girlfriend, but we were dating.
Yeah,
we were dating.
Like, you guys were a thing again.
Yeah, because to us, like, since we dated for so many years, like, I necessarily didn't have to be like, oh, ask me to be your girlfriend. Because back then I was dumb. I would settle for the bare minimum. You know, I didn't care. Like, as long as like I said, oh, you're my man. You know, so.
Like, he's all calling you babe, and you're like, oh.
I'm like, oh my God, he loves me.
You're like, he's gonna propose any minute now,
right? No, but yeah, so we ended up getting back together. I ended up posting little by little on my TikTok that we were back. And oh my God, the girls were like so mad at me. They're like, you preach about self-love, this and that, and look at you, you're so embarrassing. There was a point where everyone was just coming at me like, you're embarrassing. Y pues a mí que I was like, okay, I'm embarrassing, but I'm like, but I'm happy. Yeah, but I'm loved and happy, so ya que. And we were good though. We were good. He was showing me like a lot, like that he changed and everything, you know. And I felt for it. I was like, oh, like he's actually changing. It was doing really good. Eventually, I told my mom about him because my mom had never liked him. There's just like a lot that she just didn't like him. So I ended up telling her, like, I thought it was serious this time.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you know what? Like, fuck everyone. Like, I want to be with him because I want to be with him. He changed and we're good. And then out of nowhere, like, I didn't want to be with him no more.
Like, you were mentally checked out?
I was checked out. I was like, wait, you really think he loves you? Like tú misma te lo preguntabas. Out of nowhere, I was like, you really think he loves you? No one told me nothing. I myself. I was like, a guy that loves you wouldn't even do everything he would do to you. Yeah. You didn't have to go through all of that just to be happy. I told myself, I was like, you really did not have to go through all of that just to finally be happy. And then eventually I started telling my cousins, I was like, dude, like this and that. And they straight up told me, they're like, Angie, like, we've told you for years to leave. Like, you need to leave, but only you know when it's time. And yeah, like, I feel like I just started getting very how do you say, like dry. I wouldn't want to talk to him anymore. I didn't want to see him anymore. I just started distancing myself. And eventually, like, I just decided, I was like, you know what? Like,
I'm done.
I don't want to be with you. Like I love you, like I care for you, but like I'm not in love with you. Like no quiero estar contigo. And dude, he got mad. Like he was straight up like, what?
He's like, I haven't cheated in 2 months. Like, and you still want to break up with me?
Yeah, he's like, I changed. And
he's like, bitch, I changed for nothing. Bitch. Literally, él en su pinche mente de pendejo.
I swear he thought like that. Like, I swear. And yeah, I just ended up telling myself, like, you don't want that. And yeah, we ended up breaking up. And I won't lie, there was a few times where we would talk again.
Yeah.
And try, but I would let him know. I would be like, I don't want to be with you though. But
like,
it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool to have you around, you know? But I don't want to be with you. And then we started being more around each other. And I was like, I don't want to be with you. And I would get annoyed and I would block him on everything. And that's when I realized, I was like, you know what? Yeah, he hurt you, but that doesn't mean you need to keep hurting him too.
Yeah.
So I was like, déjalo en paz, or like, you either be with him or lo dejas en paz. Because it's like seeing each other here and then boom, leaving. That's not okay, you know?
And it's not good for him nor you.
Nor me. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
because no te da la oportunidad for you to move on. Yeah.
Exactly. I feel like I was like out, but still there.
Yeah.
You know, so eventually I just decided, like, you know what? Just leave. And there was just a lot of stuff behind it where it's just like, he doesn't love you. Like, why are you going to be with a person that doesn't love you? He's not benefiting me in no way whatsoever. Like, leave.
So going back a little bit to, you know, when you got cheated on with your friend, ya después de que pasa eso, did it ever become, you know, hard for you to maybe like trust a friend that came after that?
Yeah, it's hard for sure. Like, everyone that knows me knows that, I guess, like, my circle is all my family.
It's like closed off.
It's closed off. I will say I have a few close friends here and there, but it's not. I don't have a friend that's not family. That's like, oh, my bestie, le digo todo. Oh, ven conmigo aquí. Everyone that I'm close to, or like my circle, is my family. My cousins, my tias, my mom. Yeah, like my life is just basically like I'm around my family.
So obviamente te pegó feo emocionalmente ese golpe.
It did, for sure. It hit me to the max, and it just kind of like made me realize, like, dude, like, people who love you will really go out of their way to hurt you and don't care at all, you know. And it hurt for sure. It really did hurt, because you don't expect to be hurt from a person you love. Yeah. Not your boyfriend nor your friend. No, and anyone in general.
And then them at the same time together, it's like, way.
Exactly. And it's crazy because a lot of people would get mad at me because they're like, how come you hate the girl but you got back together with him? And I thought that too. I was like, why would I do that? Why am I still with him but I hate her? Because I never fixed anything with her at all.
Quedó así.
Yeah, quedó así. I had her out of my life, everything. But it's like, honestly, like, it might sound a bit dumb, but it's like, when you're in a relationship, like a boyfriend, like, and I won't say everyone cheats, but like, you know, boyfriends cheat. I get it. But you don't expect a friend to ever do that, you know, a friend to ever do that.
I feel like it's more normalized for like the man to cheat, but not with, it's the normalized.
It's normal, exactly.
And with the friend, it's like, no, bitch, you're supposed to be there for me when I'm crying for him.
For him, exactly. So that's why it caught me off guard, and I was like, oh, like, people are right. Why am I mad at him? I mean, why am I mad at her but not him? But it's like, I was mad at him too, but it's just, it hit different coming from my friend. Yeah. Because I was already used to him cheating. I'm like, he would already cheat on me, so I was used to it.
I'm like, nothing new.
Nothing new. I'm like, again, okay. No, but yeah, so for sure I had to learn how to, you know, see it through. And I was like, you know what? Like, even in general, you shouldn't go through that. And
it's so crazy seeing you like talk the way you're talking, because you're only 18, bitch. Yeah. And you show so much maturity. Obviamente, it's been a year since your breakup. How's your healing journey now?
I'm doing so amazing. Like, truly so amazing. I feel like everyone can see that for sure, that it took me a while. My family knows that I would spend days crying. I would not come out. I was literally never eating. I would not. I was going through it, not even just a relationship, but just in general, like things of myself. I didn't like a lot of things. And now, like, I feel like that breakup helped me, like, get away from like what was like pulling me down, and I started to realize so much. I was like, dude, like, you're young, you really don't need to be going through that. And now, like, honestly, I just like focus on myself. I focus on, obviously, like, social media, being with my family, super big for me. Like, literally, I feel like what saved me was like my family. Like, I feel like at the end of the day, like literally anyone could be against me, but I know that my family has me, you know, like is always there for me, and they helped me so much. And now, like I literally look forward to waking up. I'm like, oh my god, like I'm gonna do this.
Like waking up knowing you're not gonna get cheated on, bitch. Literally, hasta más a gusto te vas a dormir y más a gusto te despiertas.
I swear, like it's so good knowing that the people around me love me and are not doing anything.
And they're genuine.
I have genuine people around me, and I love that. I love that about my life. And I feel like también le doy gracias a Dios, obviously, for giving me an opportunity to still like be here and do things that I love and just keep it going. And I feel like I'm very big on self-love. I'm very big on like, regardless if something happens, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna get through it. I'm super big on that. I don't care what you're going through. Like, well, obviously, like everyone has a different, but whatever you're going through, it happens for a reason. Always, regardless, even if it's something so terrible. Like, sadly, you know, God puts us through things for you to get through it. Always. And I'm very big on that. So I feel like everything that I've gone through in general always has a purpose, you know what I mean? And I've been through everything, and I got through everything, you know? Like, even if it was hard and I felt like I couldn't get through it, I got through it.
And you're going to keep going through shit, and you're going to keep getting through them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, literally.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm very big on that, and I'm very big on like eventually like it will get better. And I feel like anyone going through that in general, I feel like people that feel stuck or people that kind of feel like, oh my God, like I'm so sad. Why do I feel like this? Why can't I get better? It's like, it's gonna get better.
Like just be patient.
Just be patient, for sure. It's obviously not gonna happen overnight, but when you just expect it, you're gonna be like, damn, like I love life.
I love life, literally. So obviamente ya quiero hablar de algo más, you know, más positivo. I feel like we were talking about, you know, like your struggles, what you've gone through, but I want to talk about some happy stuff. So obviamente you just turned 18 y te compraste tu carrazo del año, güey. Like you literally bought your dream car. How was it accomplishing such a big milestone at such an early age?
Dude, it felt like I was dreaming. Like I knew I always wanted to buy myself a car, of course. Like everyone has goals, but I never thought it was going to come that soon. I thought like, okay, like eventually you're going to get it. But once I did get it, I was like, oh shit, this is
like,
real.
It's mine.
I was like, it's mine, like under my name, like this is yours, girl. So I was for sure happy. It was one of the happiest moments ever, for sure, just knowing that I was able to do that. And it was kind of just like, I always wanted a car. But that car in specific, like that was my dream car. Like I always wanted it, like always. But I thought like, oh, you're going to get it when you're older. You know, ahorita agárrate algo like barato.
Honda.
And I would drive my mom's Honda. I drove it for like, 2 years? So I would drive it, and I would always like see other people like buying cars, and I would be like, oh, I can't wait till that's me. Like, I can't wait. And then obviously I have other friends that do YouTube, and they're like my age, and I would see them buy their cars, and that would motivate me more. I'd be like, dude, like, watch, that's gonna be you. And I don't know, en una de esas, like, I already turned 18, and my mom was like, ¿y qué? ¿Ya quieres un carro? Like, ya te lo vas a comprar? Because I always told her that I wanted one. She was like, give me my car back.
She's like, necesito mi Honda para atrás. Yeah, she's like, averíguatelas tú.
Yeah, so no, she ended up telling me like I should start looking for a car, and I was like, okay. I went, started looking, and I was looking at the one that I have now, but the more, how do you say it?
Like the affordable
version of it. Yeah, the affordable
like the not
version.
decked out version.
Yeah, that one. So I started looking at it because I was like, oh, like even then I thought it was expensive. I was like, dude, no, I'm not gonna buy this. But I was like, you know what? Like keep looking, and eventually, like I just started going, and then I just started like hearing things from the car salesman, and then my cousin's boyfriend knows about cars, so he helped me a lot. And he was like, you know, you can get your dream car, right? And I was like, what do you mean?
Like, why are you settling for the not decked out one?
Yeah, he's like, why are you settling for that one if you can get this one? And he broke everything down to me, and he like literally made me realize like that I'm really doing really good, like, and I can really achieve a lot of things. I never thought I could, you know. I think I was very like, I didn't think I was doing a lot like that, you know? So I was like, holy shit. He started talking to me. He's like, you can do it. He's all like, and I wouldn't just be telling you this because I don't know or because I don't think you can, but I think you could. So I ended up buying my car, and I was so happy. Like, my mom was mad though.
She's like, ¿por qué tanto dinero?
Yeah.
Uno de la calle hubiera servido bien.
Swear, she was so mad. I had to lie to her even to this day.
She's like, nomás pago $100 al mes. I thought 1,000, bitch. Imagine.
I swear, no.
Literally.
I lied to her. I lied to her, and I was like, oh, it was just this much. And even then when I lied to her, I raised down the price by $30,000 down. I lied to her, and she still thought it was a lot. She got mad. She's like, ¿estás pendeja? She's like, yo ni pendeja, ni marihuana, ni borracha, me compro un puto carro así, Ángela. I was like, fuck. Like,
she's like, fuck.
And I cried. Aww. It's because she kind of made me feel a little bad. She was like, con este puto dinero que diste pa tu entre, she's like, podíamos agarrar una puta casa.
Yeah.
And then it made me think. I won't lie. It made me think. I was like, damn.
You're like, she might be right. But you're still young.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I was like, she kind of got to me at first. I was like, oh, I feel bad.
She's like, take it back.
I'm like, yeah, never mind. But then I was like, I'm young, and honestly, like, I've always wanted this. And I worked for it for myself. Eventually, the time will come where we're going to be able to get a house. We're going to be able to do more things. But this is just what I'm doing right now.
At the moment.
Yeah, for sure. But eventually, she understood. And I was like, Ma, you're not happy for me?
You're like, Mom, I'm 18 and I bought a car. Yeah, people at 18 are really trying to get a job.
Yeah, exactly. But obviously, I feel like growing up in a Mexican household, it's a little hard for them to show affection or show that they're proud of you, you know? But I know deep down she's super proud of me. She just was worried because it's like un pinche carrazo for an 18-year-old.
¿Cómo le va a hacer?
¿Cómo le va a hacer? I feel like that's what she was scared of.
I think it's the worry because, you know, as moms, it's like, yeah, she's proud, obviamente,
no, of course,
no. Pero es más de que, okay, a lo mejor ahorita, ¿qué tal en unos años? She's still going to be able to keep up. But, you know, obviamente te va a seguir yendo bien y pues, ahorita es el carro, en unos años va a ser la puta casa.
La puta casa.
Chingue
si Dios quiere.
Si Dios quiere y va a querer. You know, we're talking about houses. We're talking about you growing up. Y algo que mucha gente te ha preguntado es de que, Angie, ¿planeas moverte? Do you plan on moving out? What's your take on moving out?
Yeah, so I've actually been, literally that's been in the back of my mind the past like month or two. It's been in the back of my mind. So actually everyone asked me, because obviously since I'm far from LA, they're like, are you moving to LA? Because I talk about like how, I want to move, this is not. But I don't think I would move out here quite yet. Just because, like I said, I'm super attached to my family. And that's going to be really hard for me. Really, really, really hard for me. But I do want to get like my own like place out there for like a year, lease an apartment for like a year, you know, see how I am living on my own. Yeah. Just to give myself time. And obviously because I'm really outgrowing like the place where I'm living at right now. Obviously I live with my mom, my stepdad, my siblings, and it's a full house, you know. It gets hard, especially me wanting to film. Sometimes like I can't make noise, or sometimes I can't do this. And like my room, for example, like I get a lot of packages in the mail. Ya está todo lleno.
Ya ni cabes tú ni los paquetes, güey.
It's hard for sure. I have to do like a weekly cleanings, or I'm gonna give this to my cousins because ya no lo quiero, y this and that. Like I clean out a lot daily because I have a lot of stuff.
Ya ni quepo yo.
I'm like, ya ni quepo yo. Yeah, so it's hard for sure. But I already told myself soon I do want to get my apartment, be on my own for a year, and just see how I am, you know. I still want to be close to my family, but I do want to get used to learning how to be on my own, obviously because I'm very young, and it's obviously going to be really hard, like, to, I guess, adapt to like a new like lifestyle. Like, oh, you're gonna be on your own, girl. You have to get up on your own time. You have to do this. Like,
you have to pay your own bills. You have to go to the place to pay them, or do what you got to do to pay them.
Yeah, exactly. So it's for sure a lot, and everyone has it different. Una gente it's a little easier. Some people struggle, but I know at the end of the day, like whatever's for me is gonna be for me. Si me va bien, me va bien. Si no, I could always go back home with my mom.
Literally, you're like, tengo opción de esta vez sí. Esta vez sí.
Yeah.
Which is good though, because if you really think about it, estás pensando de que, okay, güey, ahorita nomás me voy a mover in my town, and that's kind of like training wheels, because you know, then you see how you do good on your own. Back home having the help of your family. Y ya después de un año, dos, you're like, chinga su madre, I'm good. Vámonos a Los Ángeles.
Vámonos. Literally. Yeah, exactly.
So obviously, ya para terminar la entrevista, ay, you guys, aquí podemos seguir platicando por horas.
Stay here for years.
Pero ya para terminar la entrevista, yo quiero saber, what does the future hold for Angie? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I'm like rich.
You're like, get in the bag. Bitch.
No, I'm just kidding.
You're like, no, don't be just kidding. You're
I'm
no,
not kidding.
You're like, for reals, I want to be rich.
No, for sure. I really want to be really successful. I want a family. I want a big family.
Damn.
I love kids. It's so crazy because like when I was like, let's say like last year, I always told myself I want to be a teen mom.
Oh, shit.
Like, so random. I was like, I want to be a teen mom. But then I realized, like, I started growing and I was like, girl, you don't want a kid right now.
Yeah, you're like, you're too young.
No, I'm too young. So for sure, though, I'm really excited to just keep growing more on social media, growing in general as a person, meeting new people, just doing a lot of things for myself, of course, and obviously helping my family. I feel like something very big. I really want to help my family. Want to help my mom get her house. I've always promised her that. Like, girl, don't worry.
It's coming.
I'm like, it's coming. I'm gonna help you get your house. And I just honestly, I'm just going through life to see what it takes me. I really don't have something like, oh my God, I'm gonna do this. It's just, I want to do everything.
Todo lo que venga lo
I'm
voy
like,
a hacer.
everything that comes my way, I'll do it. Like, as long as it's benefiting me and doing me good. Even if it isn't, sometimes things that aren't benefiting you will teach you a lot, for sure. It'll teach you so much. So I'm just going with life as it is, and I'm gonna keep going. I want to be a very successful person, and I know for sure God's gonna lead me through it all.
Y yo nomás por conociéndote ahorita, güey, yo te puedo decir that I know just by seeing the person you are online and then seeing you here, like, la manera que te expresas, yo sé que vas a lograr todo lo que te propongas in the next 5 years, or even if whatever goal you have for the next month, lo vas a hacer. But thank you so much, amiga, for coming on my podcast y pues platicar conmigo un poquito más para que yo y pues la gente que nos está mirando te pueda conocer un poquito más.
No, thank you for having me, dude. I was shitting bricks before I
was shitting bricks. ¿Ves? Ya, hasta me usted hablar, güey.
I'm like, you scared already? No,
I'm literally all fucking shitting bricks right now. I'm like, literally.
No, but thank you for sure. It's such a big opportunity. I was super happy. I was like, oh my God, dude, I would watch you before.
Oh, dude, no, I'm excited that you're here. Honestamente, this episode, you guys, I know you guys watch it at home, les ha encantado porque a mí honestamente sí.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
Hearing you, la manera que te expresas, la manera que hablas de tu vida, and the way you carry yourself is so inspirational. And I know people at home see it, and that's why you have so much support.
Thank you so much. Thank you once again.
So with that being said, you guys, thank you guys so much for watching today's episode. Y también, como siempre, no se les olvide to follow Angie on all her social medias, which I'll leave down below and as well as on the screen. Y también no se les olvide seguirme a mí para que no pierdan any future episode. And once again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.